So thank you all for coming. I'm hoping you've all got your handout ready to go. Excellent. And excuse my memory, but I'm not sure whether you all attended the first Fingerstyle session. So if you haven't, have you seen the video for it so we can kind of take on from where we were? Excellent. Love people who do their homework. This is great. So, welcome everyone. We all tuned up? Let me just check my tuning. What did you do with the grandkids, Janine? Did you hide them in a closet?
No, it's tomorrow. I got it wrong.
Okay. Excellent.
Too many days with grandkids.
Well, not enough, no?
Too many at the moment.
Excellent. So we might get started. I'll ask you to mute yourselves to start with if you haven't already. But do feel free to unmute yourself at any time if you have any questions at all. All questions always welcome. So now I just want to check my audio. Am I coming through nice and clearly with no echo? Excellent. Yes, we did work out that problem last time. So we're all sorted. And we're just waiting. And there's Terry. Hey, Terry, with your fabulous new hair.
Oh, it's cute.
Looks great. So yeah, if I get you all to mute yourself and we will get started. So thank you all for coming today. Welcome to more fingerstyle patterns for ukulele. I'm sure you've all watched the first workshop and you've all got it down completely pat and you're all brilliant at it. Am I right? Yes? No? Maybe? Excellent? No, that's great. So the patterns that we're looking at today, we're building on the patterns from the first workshop. Michael's pulling faces at me. I'll just ignore that. So, as usual, I'm on my baritone, but because we're doing fingerstyle today, it makes absolutely no difference what size uke you're on. You've got the chords in front of you. We're all going to be playing the same chords. So if you're not on a baritone and you're wondering why my finger positions look different, that's why. But we're all playing the same chords. We're all in the big family together, so we'll be fine. So having a look at our handout, we can see again that we're using the PIMA system for working out which fingers we're going to be using. Now, I have been asked in the past what the PIMA stands for, and I did look it up, but it's in Spanish, and my Spanish is non-existent. So all I can tell you is it's the first letter of the Spanish words for those fingers. But you don't need to know the Spanish, you just need to know which fingers you'll be using. Again, I'm using the little 2 vertical marks on the tab as a rest. So when you see that, it just means don't play anything. Now, if you have the handout from the first finger picking pattern workshop, I did forget to add that little thing in telling you what it was, although I explained it in the workshop. So I've updated the handout on my website. It's on the same page as the handout for today's workshop. So feel free to go back and re-download it again if you find that's going to be easier for you. So when we did the first exercise in the first workshop, Introduction to Fingerpicking, we just did a straight arpeggio, which I'm doing in G, and let me, with the magic of technology, do that. So you can now see what my other hand is doing. She said making sure, so there. So if I'm just playing a straight arpeggio, sorry, is that second camera bright enough or do I need to turn another light on for you? Just nod if it's bright enough, shake your head if it needs more light. Kind of a bit, let me see. All right, let's try that. Is that better? Yep, excellent. Okay, so our straight arpeggio from the first workshop was just PIMA, just one string after the other, which is a nice pattern in itself. So if we look at pattern 4 on today's workshop, and the reason that I've called the first one we're looking at pattern 4 is because it's a continuation of the first workshop. So hopefully when you print things out and you have them in your folder, you don't have 2 exercise 1 and 2 exercise 2. So pattern 4, we've taken that basic arpeggio and just changed it a little bit. So for the first beat, 4 beats of the bar, we're playing 2 strings at once, and we're playing with our thumb and our 4th finger. So just try that, just plucking the first string and the 4th string at the same time. Thumb on the 4th string, 4th finger or ring finger on the 1st string. And once we get comfortable with that, we can then start to look at the rest of the bar. So the beats 2, 3, and 4 is third string, 2nd string, 3rd string. So if I put that together, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just doing it on G for the moment. I'm not changing my chord. Just try that on G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I'll slow it down. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then that pattern is all the way through pattern 4. So we're going to try it with some chord changes, just really nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just keep doing that yourself for a minute and just get a bit comfortable with it, counting in your head, in your own head. Excellent. So it's a little bit more challenging than the straight arpeggio because we're not just going 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it's a really lovely pattern. So once you're comfortable with that, and then we look at the next pattern, pattern 5. I actually think pattern 5 is easier than pattern 4, because if you look at the difference between pattern 5 and pattern 4 is that we're just dropping off the last note on beat 4 and we're just playing it as a rest. So back in G again, rather than playing 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm playing 1, 2, 3, and the 4 is a rest. So it really gives me 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. So when you count it, you can either count it as 1, 2, 3, rest, or you can count it as 1, 2, 3, 4 if you find not counting the 4th beat is a bit confusing. So let's play pattern 5 with the chord changes all the way through with that rest. And I'll count us in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the lovely thing about pattern 4 and pattern 5 is that they interchange really, really nicely. So for example, I'm going to play the chords again, but I'll play pattern 4, pattern 5, pattern 4, pattern 5, and that will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which I think sounds really lovely. And you can play those two patterns together in any combination. You might do 3 bars of 4, I beg your pardon, 3 bars of pattern 4 and then 1 bar of pattern 5, vice versa, mix it up. It's really, really fun to start to interchange some of your patterns, and it's going to make your playing sound a lot more interesting than if you're just playing the same pattern all the time. And you can certainly start swapping in and out the patterns from the first workshop as well. Now, pattern 6, I've only given it to you with one chord because the counting is a little bit more confusing. So what I want to do with pattern 6 first is to clap it out for you. Now, pattern 6 is still 4 beats to the bar, but we're now looking at the half beats in between the regular beats. So rather than just going 1, 2, 3, 4, we're now looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for me to count out pattern 6, I'm going to clap where you play, but count the whole thing, if that makes sense. So that will give us 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's try playing that just with your G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So play that a couple of times yourself until you start to feel more comfortable with the syncopation of this counting. Excellent, lots of nodding going on, that's what I like to see. Thumbs up, yep, excellent. Any questions so far? No questions? Wow. No, that's good, it means you're getting it. So then when we look at pattern 7, we're bringing back in an extra note on that 4th beat, and again I'm going to clap it out. That will give us 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry, let me start again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we've just stuck another note back on the 4. So to play that slowly, again in G, would give us 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'll slow it down more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So try that a couple of times. Feel the difference with the extra beat. Excellent. So now again, pattern 6 and pattern 7 are great to switch in and switch out. So for example, we might have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And especially if you're changing chords, you're going to hear the difference more between the patterns than if you're just playing G all the time, which we're just doing at the moment for ease. I'm just seeing there's a question in the chat. Let me just have a quick look. Yes, Terry, pattern 6 and 7 are syncopated beats. Well done. Yay, she's recognized it. That's brilliant. Now, obviously, you can swap, well, maybe not obviously, but you can swap any of these patterns in and out. But I think to start with, if you're not used to the syncopated patterns, perhaps just concentrate on alternating those. And then once you're comfortable with those and you can start to bring them up to speed, try swapping them in and out with patterns 4 and 5. If you have a metronome, please practice with your metronome. If you hate using metronomes, as I know some of you do, there are some great YouTube channels that have just drum beats, and you can practice with a drum beat. If that drives you nuts, count and try and count evenly. I don't know where you all went to school, but when I was at primary school and we had to count slowly, we were taught the Mississippi, which was 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, to get a nice even beat, which is a bit weird because we live in Australia and you'd think they'd come up with something Australian for us, but that's the way it was done for us. But it's really important with the finger picking styles, especially with the syncopation, that you really concentrate on getting the timing right. Now, when you're playing syncopation against a non-syncopated pattern, you're going to have to really slow the non-syncopated pattern right down to make sure that your 1, 2, 3, 4 are even and on the beat. And then once you get that even, then you can start to speed things up. If you feel like you're playing really, really slowly, and I know I've said this before in a workshop, if you think the speed that you're playing is too slow, I want you to play as slow as possible, so slow that you just want to scream. It's driving you nuts. Because if you're trying to play something slowly and you're frustrated because you want to play fast, if you actually slow it right down and play it really, really, really slowly, I want to go to sleep, this is so slow. Then when you go back to the original tempo that you were practicing at, it doesn't actually seem as slow because your brain's gone, oh, well, there's actually something worse than this, so this is okay. So that's something to keep in mind when you're practicing. Now, if you were at my first workshop, and I knew some of you were, you'll probably know what's coming. But once you manage to play these patterns forwards, you can then learn to play them backwards. And this is definitely more of a challenge because we get used to hearing something in a certain way and then we flip it on its end and play it the other way back. A question that came up, a really good question that came up after my first workshop, is if I play it backwards, do I have to do the same timing as in the bar? And the way that question was asked is, for example, in pattern 6, we have a rest on the 4th beat. If I play it backwards, do I put the rest on the 4th beat or do I put the rest at the beginning so that it is exactly backwards? And the answer to that is whatever floats your boat, basically. If you like it with the rest at the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or again, you can mix it up. But I think initially when you're playing backwards, just start at the end and work your way to the beginning as it's written, which would put the rest at the front. Once you get it in your fingers, then absolutely experiment. Move that rest around. See where you like it, see where you don't like it. Or you might decide that, oh, this syncopation stuff's really cool. I'm going to go mad. And I'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all I'm doing there is just pinching the first beat, which is 1 and 4, and then just alternating between 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's just taking pattern 7 and going, well, if I squish it up, I can then add a few bits in, or you just might go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The important thing here is how many beats do I want to play in this bar? Do I just want to play 4 because it's 4/4? Or if I'm using my half beats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this actually gives me 8 notes to play with because I'm counting 1 and is really 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because we've gone from full beats to half beats. Well, there's 2 half beats to a full beat. So 4 beats to the bar, I can actually play 8 half beats if I want to. And the amount of combinations you can come up with within those 8 is phenomenal. Have I lost you or are you following me? Terry, have I lost you? No, you're good. You're good. Good. Excellent. So you can certainly take these patterns and go, well, okay, I like pattern 4, but I kind of want to add something into it. So I might take pattern 4 and think, I'm looking at pattern 4. I'm going to play another beat. I want to play 1, 2, 3, 4, and what will I put in there? Well, to me, the obvious note to put in there is to put in another second string with your middle finger. And that would give me 1 and 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So I'm playing one, this is beat pattern 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm just adding in another ring finger on the second string as my 4 and. My middle finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, you're understanding that. So all of a sudden, we've gone from a regular beat into a syncopated beat just by adding that little half note at the end. Do we have any questions, comments, feedback? It's either all too early or too late in the evening, obviously. No, I'm glad that is all making sense. So that's basically our workshop for today. So please feel free to unmute yourself. And hopefully that all made some sense.
Thank you, Morgana. That was great.
Oh, good.
And that was really fun. In fact, the syncopation has become one of my favorite things now that I understand it.
And you hated it when you started.
I did. I just couldn't get my head to get around what it was all about. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me just get
Seriously fun.
It is seriously fun, and it can absolutely do your head in sometimes. I'm still trying to master freight train. Elizabeth Todd, just slow it right down, but it's so much fun. So while you're all here and we have a little bit of time, I would like to share some really exciting news with you. And that exciting news is yesterday I finished mastering my first debut album, which I will be releasing digitally online. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, done.
That's awesome.
It's all fingerstyle uke, no vocals at all. It's just all instrumental.
Done.
Yeah, it's a big deal for me because I can remember being in primary school in 6th grade and my art teacher saying to me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be a musician," but never actually thought it would happen. That was back in the 70s, so none of this wonderful technology. And yesterday I just thought, oh, I should start looking at all the recording that I've been doing over since sort of December and see what's there, and then suddenly realized, oh my God, I have enough music for an album. So
how cool. When are you going to release that?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be up on Bandcamp this week.
Wow.
And I'm looking at also actually getting it up onto Spotify and iTunes as well, but that's going to take a bit longer. So
Cool.
Well, congratulations. How fun.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
It's called 4-inch Cats, strangely enough. And it's got 11 really nice songs and then one really cheesy one at the end. I wrote a song for my husband last year. I always used to tease him that I'd write him a song and I'd call it Love You, Love You, Love You, because I do love him very much. So I wrote this little ditty tune that's really cheesy and called it Love You, Love You, Love You. And he wanted me to put it on the album and I thought, why not? So it's this really nice chill out music to get right to the end and then this little cheesy bit, but hey. So
who doesn't love a little cheesy?
A little cheesy's good. But I'll definitely be putting links up and announcing it on my Facebook page when it's up and done. So it's just like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
That is really cool.
I hope you'll also send an email through your 4-inch Cats for those of us who don't follow Facebook very much.
Absolutely. Great. I will send through the mailing list and it'll be on Instagram and I'll be shouting it from the rooftops.
That's so exciting, Morgana.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
Are these all
Very.
things you've written?
Yes, yes, they're all things that I've written. So
Well done.
So how am I supposed to get an autographed copy of a digital download? Hmm?
I am hoping
It's
to
all
actually
virtual
have-
now, right?
I will have a very, very limited run of physical CDs later on in the year.
Excellent.
Only because I want one to put in my own CD rack.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
So I will let you know when that happens. So there you go. Well, thank you everyone very much for coming. It was lovely to see some friendly faces. I will definitely continue, I think, in the future to do the 2 different time zone things. Although I know for you UK people, it is quite late now. But thank you for coming, and I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line.
Thanks, Morgana.
Thanks, Morgana.
Thank
It
you.
was super fun.
Thank you very much.